Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is DFree. Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. In this video in particular, we're going to go ahead and talk about Mono TEQ a little bit and kind of just see what we can do to fill in some of the holes. Like, what does TEQ need, right? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you happen to be new, please consider subscribing because we do this type of thing all the time. But I will say that this is a bit of a bonus video. I was not intending on doing this video, but I was just kind of sitting here like, I want to do a video because this has kind of been bothering me a little bit. So we'll just kind of drop a video and I'll let you guys get into discussion. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about it. So Mono TEQ is very powerful, right? They have Goku and Gotenks who clock in at being like numbers 4 and 5, I think, in the top 10 hardest hitters list now. So obviously a lot of power there. You have LR Goku, who's always been one of the harder hitters and all that stuff. So obviously this team is really good. They have TEQ Vegito's support, a lot of potential. But something that's really been plaguing me is that, you know, they have 5 optimal units, maybe 6, just depends on your outlook on it. I'll get back to that. And then regardless, the last slot is kind of a, well, what do I put here, right? So let me go ahead and explain. So obviously you're going to run the Goku. We're going to grab the Goku and put him in there, right? Put Goku in there. Obviously going to run Gotenks because they're buddies. They link really well. You see 4 links there. Goku come up here. Gotenks go down there. Now you run Vegito. Obviously, Vegito with his support and his links, really great unit. Gonna run Bardock because why not? He gets a lot better. He still seals. So him and Gotenks physical are basically the best sealers in the game. And they actually are the only sealers in the game that have fierce battle, too. So that's another thing. They're really good. So then from here, right, you have some options. Because some people will have LR Goku. Majority won't, in my opinion, I guess. It kind of just, I don't have LR Goku on JP. I do have him on Global. I'm going to get to doing it on JP. I need like 100 more medals. I'm just kind of sitting on it. I'm being lazy, to be honest. But from there, you have TEQ Dragon Ball Super Trunks. Really, really amazing unit. And that's pretty much it. And you can kind of, if you want a little more defense, like you can throw in this guy, fine. So what is TEQ missing, right? So if this is the team, there are some holes in here. As you see, this is all offense. And now TEQ has always been this team that's always been a really hard-hitting team, and that's kind of just it, right? Because TEQ Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is a hard hitter. Nova Shenron is a hard hitter who has some self-sufficiency. You have Merz Zamasu, who's a hard hitter. I mean, TEQ Frieza he's kind of a blend. He's a little bit of a hard hitter and a tanker. That's why they made him that way. TEQ Cooler is a hard hitter. Obviously, Bardock there, the Mass Saiyan, is a hard hitter and a decent tank. So, you know, they have a little bit of consistency on the villain side as far as, like, being able to tank and hit hard. But when it comes to the heroes section of it, all they really do is hit, which is kind of where that Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta kind of shines. But the problem with that is, you know, defense getting high is really good. It's really, really good, right? And we've seen how good it can be when it comes to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Physical Cooler, because they're basically the best tanks in the game when it comes to just a flat defensive stat. Obviously, Goku can get up there after some super attacks, whatever the case is, but they're consistently there. So regardless, those guys, and then I guess you can throw in, I don't know what the Bardock's defense peaks at on being on double Gotenks or double Golden Frieza, where he gets a lot of stat increases. I don't know where that Mass Saiyan Bardock's defense peaks at. I assume it peaks really high too, so he'd probably be up there too as being a really high defense consistent unit there. But what do you do? Because like I was saying, the hero group specifically is all offense based. I mean, you have Gotenks, Goku, you're going to have 2 Gokus, and you're going to have the LR Goku at the end there, who also has always really been a really good hard hitter. Now, when it comes down to the team, what does TEQ need? I feel like TEQ needs another unit that has Prepare for Battle and Over in a Flash and has some defensive value. Now, Alex, good friend of mine, the Gaming Claw, has been wanting a TEQ Super Saiyan God Goku Dokkan Festival. We all want it to, but honestly, I don't know if they're going to do it because we just kind of got a TEQ festival. I think they're going to move away from TEQ, but regardless, that doesn't mean they can't make a unit like Super Saiyan God Goku or something like that, because there are very select units in the game that have Prepare for Battle and Over in a Flash, because they're reluctant to give the Super Saiyan 3 units Prepare for Battle. I understand why they didn't with Gotenks, but they could have given it to Goku, and they knew what they were doing, right? They purposely didn't give it to Goku and instead gave him Golden Warrior and Saiyan Lineage. That's exactly why they did that. They just didn't want to have Prepare for Battle on him. I'm not sure as to why. But you know they wanted key links because they went out of their way to give him key links. And those are the most consistent Saiyan key links aside from prepare for battle at this point. They even gave him revival. I mean, it makes sense because he's dead, but still. So I digress. What do they need? They need a unit that has that and has a little bit of defensive value and not just a high defensive stat. Honestly, I feel like it's time that the Hero Tech group gets a defensive tank that is able to reduce incoming damage, like Super Vegito, like Tech Frieza, for example, something like that. I don't, people will say, hey, you're running Super Saiyan 3 Goku team. If you want a tank, just go ahead and run Golden Frieza. I'm not going to do that because that is a drawback on the team. Run one cell. No, it's a drawback on the team because the way that these are structured is the game is like, okay, if you couldn't tell, they don't really care about Rainbow. I mean, yes, Bardock just came out the Mass Saiyan. He's a Rainbow leader skill. That's fine. They don't care about Rainbow. The Mono teams shit on Rainbow teams because of damage output, because of the statistical increase. So obviously the game still wants you to run Mono teams, but they've taken it a step further and said, okay, well, you're running Mono teams, sure, but we're going to break your Mono teams up into heroes and villains. So now you've got Hero Tech Mono, and you have Villain Tech Mono, and all the different things for all the different groups. Eventually, I assume that's what they'll do. But at this point, at this juncture, I'm not going to run Frieza or Tech Cell on the team in that last slot because obviously they're only getting one key and then 50% from the leader skill. It's such a significant difference between 50% and one key and 3 key and 120% that it just doesn't make any sense. But if you had to outwardly go ahead and do it, like for example, sometimes I run Golden Frieza AGL when I'm running like AGL versus Tech fights on my videos on my channel. So maybe I'll do that sometimes, but just consistently, that's honestly just holding back the team. Tech needs something they can slide in there because for me personally, I'm running this exact team minus LR Goku because I don't have him. And I'm not sold on LR Goku because obviously for LR Goku to be really good, you have to keep him on rotation with the Bardock. You have to keep him on rotation with the Bardock because the Bardock supplies ki via Bardock's passive and they share several links and attack links. So they share Super Saiyan. There's one of the Bardock, I don't know what that is. First Awaken, I think that's what that is. There's a key link in there for the Goku and the Bardock cards, and then Golden Warrior. So also that with Bardock setting up all those tech orbs makes it pretty common that Goku should be able to get his best super off the Ultra Super because he is starting with 6 key at least from the double Super Saiyan 3 leads. So regardless, what that means is that you have one rotation of Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Gotenks, and the next rotation LR and Bardock. But what are you doing from there? You have literally whoever else you're running in these last few slots, and then just imagine there's another Goku here because I don't think it'll let me put another one. But you have all those guys. Well, actually, I can put him. Just imagine this is a TUR friend Goku. You have all these guys just kind of floating in that last slot, being last slot fodder. Now, the problems with this are this, right? LR Goku can probably become a pretty decent normal attack tank. I mean, he does have like 8,000 defense. He does get a passive increase on the defense, but he's so old that if you look at the power creep on the game, his stat increase via the passive is kind of bad. Like it's like 10,000 attack, I think, and 3,000 defense. Let's check him out. It's 10,000 and 3,000. That's so bad. I mean, because even Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken comes out, he has a way better one, and then Bardock, Mass Saiyan just comes out and completely just stomps on both of their passives. Same type of passive, but if he were made today, he'd probably be a lot better. So that kind of holds him back too. But I mean, he does have 8,000, and that would double 120% leaders, and then the passive kicking in for 3,000. And then that's assuming you didn't improve these units via the dupe system, the potential system. Obviously, he could get really good there. So I'm not going to take that away from him. He can be a lot better, and he may wind up being the most consistent tank on the team. But you have to kind of weigh at that point, if you're going to run rotations of these two at the top and then these two on the right, you're floating all these other guys, does that make LR Goku more valuable than this second Super Saiyan 3 Goku on the team? Because whatever you put in that third slot is not going to spawn back for another couple of turns. So, or 3 turns, whatever it is. But you know what I mean. But whatever you put there is not going to spawn. So you're just going to keep these two in the first couple slots, and so they can stay together throughout the duration of whatever event you're on, or boss rush. It'll stay the same through any boss rush or whatever it is. And, for example, if you need Vegeta, who gets 80% up, 70% up on his passive for defense. It's leader skill, passive, 70% up on defense. His defense gets to about 24k and then about 30k, 31k on rotation with the Vegito here. I'm perfectly fine with floating Vegito in that third slot because he just is just a helper. He's not there really to do anything else but to make your guys hit harder. You can't really take advantage of his super attack mechanic increase because you're not going to put him in the first slot because you want to keep rotation, unless I guess it's the end of the event and it doesn't matter anymore. But if you needed the defense from Vegeta, like in the beginning of the round, for example, they're attacking, all of the attacks are coming in the first couple of slots. You're putting Vegeta in the last slot just to keep rotation, but you don't have the defense there. But how would that be remedied by a new unit coming in? What this would allow you to do, right, is I'm not going to drop Trunks because Trunks is amazing. Trunks is honestly really, really good. He hits really freaking hard with some potential system increases and a super attack 10 because he is farmable. On this team, he hits really hard. He gets a nice stack, a 6-turn stack for 50%. Trunks is really good. The only restriction on him is he has to be fighting one enemy, which is most of the time you're on like in a boss event. But if I had to drop Trunks, I would. So let's go ahead and drop Trunks. All right. And just for consistency purposes, we'll also drop Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, which I like to have Trunks and Vegeta on one rotation together because they have like the Vegeta family and it looks pretty cool. But say this is your team, right? And they make this new unit that has Over in a Flash and Prepare for Battle. I'm going to slide him here. What does this allow you to do? Now, the problem with this is TEQ still kind of is in a similar situation, right? You have to discern whether or not you want this unit that probably wouldn't even have Fierce Battle, but it wouldn't matter if you put Goku in the middle. He'd get Fierce Battle from whoever's in the third slot. And another thing, too, we actually, on a side note, this guy right here, Zenrod and I have actually been playing with using this guy in that third slot because he's self-sufficient there. It's just because TEQ needs something. And Zenrod even has LR Goku and doesn't run him. That's the funny thing. But I'll take that guy off. But you have to discern at this point, is it better to have this right combination as opposed to this new unit and this Goku in that second rotation? And so every turn you get Goku and Gotenks and then Goku and this other new unit, whether it's Super Saiyan God TEQ or whatever it is, or Gogeta or something, because like I said, not very many units have Prepare for Battle and Over in a Flash. There's a select few. So it just kind of comes down to that. Or is this more valuable than this duo of Bardock and Goku? Do you need the ceiling every turn? Do you need the damage and the potential tanking from him? But what if that new unit also is able to tank well? Now, another thing people have been talking about before we get out of here is they have been talking about the possibility of, there being a max type banner and they make a TEQ unit that's similar to like the new Gohan, the Ultimate Gohan, or in the Kai close, and the new Super Buu that both of them have 3 key passives and 40% attack and defense increases. I am not sold on that being a good option for the last slot because what that does is you're going to either put it on rotation with this Goku, which sure, giving Goku 40% more attack and defense is a nice thing to have, right? It's nice to have. I'm just a little bit more weary of Gotenks because Gotenks does still need to be micromanaged, and sometimes it can take a couple of turns to establish rotations, especially if you're in like the midst of like a race, for example, where you don't have the time to really think. Obviously, racing is something self-contained with YouTube or just maybe something you do personally with your friends, but regardless, it's not something you really have time to do. So I'm kind of weary on that. I don't know how that'll work out, especially if they don't link well, like they don't have Super Saiyan or things like that. I don't know how that would work, so I'm going to kind of parking lot that. And, people may ask questions about TEQ Whis, TEQ Bardock. All that stuff is situational. They're not optimal. I'm building an optimal team. This is not with the assumption that you have every unit in your box potentially. Do this for yourself. Run what works best for you. But I'm just building an optimal team based on what I actually personally have available because I have most of these guys here, if not all these guys, except for the LR Goku. But I'm just trying to give you guys my thought process on this and where this is at because TEQ is not cookie cutter consistent like every other group is for the most part. I do struggle with this last slot. So what I think I'm going to wind up doing is eventually there's going to be a unit that has Prepare for Battle and Over in a Flash, and I'm hoping that same unit is able to tank. Because if he can tank, he's great. If he can tank, he's great. If he can tank, he's great. Even if it's not an incoming reduction like Frieza, if it's just a flat defense, great, fine. I'll probably just wind up doing that and running Trunks and then just dropping LR Goku because of the consistency. I want to be able to consistently super attack, and being able to do that, I will be able to. I'm not going to run this Vegeta. It sucks so bad that he does not have Over in a Flash right now. It wasn't a problem on double Gotenks because you didn't want it, but now you want it because you want somebody to pair with this stupid Goku together they only start off with like 7 ki, and that's not enough because the orb placement can screw you over more often than not. So I'll probably run something like this, that new unit, this, and just be good to go. Just consistently hard hitting and being able to sustain, because you do have Tech Vegito improving the defense. Of course, the more you improve your unit's defense, the better Tank 8 be, especially on this team with 120% up on the defensive stat and Tech Vegito's passive. You do have the ceiling from Bardock. The assumption that whether it's a max banner that drops a 40% attack and defense increase in 3 ki unit or whatever if you run that, which he'd be really good. I'm just kind of weary of Gotenks, but I guess it's not that big of a deal because you'd probably only get 1 turn at best with Gotenks being maxed out on ki. And that's not a death sentence. It's just uninspiring when Gotenks gets 12 ki as opposed to 11. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below as far as this goes. It's such a shame that you can't run this Goku on the same team as the other Goku. They're both angels. It's great because it makes the other one farmable. But this Goku is really good. Really, really good. I'll showcase him one of these upcoming days. And so is Adult Gotenks. I think Xehanort was playing with running him. He's really good too. He's just unavailable. And, oh yeah, last thing. People wondering about Tech Gotenks. You have to kind of make the same assumption, like, is he worth running on rotation as opposed to all the other guys are going to float just to get maybe 2 or 3 more rainbow orbs to make your Goku hit just 20% harder. It's not that big of a deal. So I played with running him on my team a little bit, and it didn't really make a big difference. So if you're wondering about that. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And last little thing, once again, key support. That last slot, I don't really want to throw a key supporter in there just because of Gotenks. That's the main reason why. But anyways, have an awesome day. Thank you for tuning in today's video. If you like this, let me know in the comment section if you guys want more of these. It's just me giving you guys my thought process for something that I've had a dilemma with. But anyways, have an